Welcome into another edition of Celtics Spotlight here on the Carlow Sports Network. Sean Meyers joined by Megan Lydon, a sophomore on the women's basketball team. Megan, thank you for doing this. How's everything going with you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing terrific. I want to talk a little bit about your first season here at Carlow. You transferred in this year, so have you evaluated how the first season has gone for you?
I think it's been pretty good so far. I think we're in a little bit of a tough spot right now. I think there's definitely some games we fell short in that we probably could have won, and that's obviously frustrating, but we definitely have a lot of new people, and I know they only had around 7 girls last year, so obviously a lot of new members on the team. We're still learning how to work together and win those tough games, but other than that, I think we're in a good spot.
Let's talk a little bit about you individually. What are some of your best attributes as a player?
I think for me, I like to be on the floor. I love diving after loose balls, getting after rebounds. I feel like those are the plays that get energy going for the team, taking charges, little stuff like that that's not always viewed as maybe as important as scoring necessarily.
Talk about diving around, taking charges. I'm sure that could be physically demanding at times, and recently you suffered an injury. So what are some of the biggest challenges to come back from any time you have a setback?
Yeah, I think it's definitely more, for me at least, a mental kind of challenge than a physical one at times, especially just trying to get your confidence back after maybe missing a few games and not being able to be out there on the court. Then once you're coming back after that injury, it's hard to get into that flow and rhythm of playing again.
What goals did you set for the team and for yourself this season?
I think for the team, it's just we talk a lot about not being the Carlow team that everyone just expects to not do that great, that there's not that high of an expectation. And that's something that a lot of people want to change, just change the culture of having higher expectations on the season. I think for me personally, it's a lot about just getting, like I said, my confidence back, coming from a new school, coming off an injury at my previous school. I think it's a lot about just finding my kind of rhythm again and getting my confidence back.
Now, we mentioned you're new to Carlow, but you played high school basketball in the area in Pittsburgh. So did you know any of your current teammates before you came here to Carlow?
Yeah, I actually played AAU basketball with Keegan. So I've known Keegan since we were 12 years old. But I also remember some of them just from being in the area, growing up playing against them too. So,
what led you to your decision to transfer to Carlow after you were previously at Clarion University?
Honestly, it really just came down to a matter of school, mostly. The program at Clarion wasn't exactly what I was looking for, so when I looked around at other schools, Carlow has a really good psychology department, and that ultimately just felt like the best decision for me and being able to be closer to home again. So,
I think you sort of alluded to it, but what's your major and what's an ideal future profession for you?
Yeah, my major is psychology, and in the future I would like to be an art therapist. So ideally, I think I'd want to work with children, whether that's in a hospital setting, school setting, but just mainly working with students or younger children that need therapy and using art kind of as a way to do so.
Having the opportunity to play college basketball, I'm sure, is near the top of the list, but aside from that, what's the best parts of being a college student?
I honestly think just being able to meet new people. I think when you go, at least for me, growing up in Shaler, you go to school with the same people basically from kindergarten till senior year. So I think getting to college, now this being my second school, you're just exposed to a lot of different people, a lot of different backgrounds, and it's just interesting to meet a lot of new people.
You mentioned you went to Shaler area. What was your fondest memory there?
Probably, I actually got to play basketball with my sister. So when I was a freshman, she was a senior. So we were on the same team for a year, and so that was pretty cool. That was something that I really enjoyed.
Do you still follow the Titans athletics at all, or the WPIAL?
Yeah, I'm still pretty close with my high school coach from when I played, so I definitely still try to go to games when I'm home and keep in contact with them.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a tough one here. If you could change one rule about college basketball, what would it be?
Probably the hand check rule, which is basically just anytime you put a hand on someone when you're guarding them, it's almost always an automatic foul, which is hard because sometimes you're just trying to keep up with them when they change pace, and as soon as you put a hand on them, they've really cracked down on that it's almost always a foul. So that's definitely frustrating.
So you like to be a little bit more aggressive defensively.
Yeah.
Do you have any superstitions or any rituals either during a game or after a game?
Nope. I do have one before a game though.
Okay.
I usually try to watch film basically of things I've done well. So whether that's big shots I've made, clips of any good plays I've made, I try and put that in my head mentally before going out so that I have that same feeling from when that good thing happened to translate that into the game ahead. So
A lot of tough choices, but what is your favorite social media app?
probably Instagram. I feel like that's really like the first social media app I remember having, and I like just being able to see people's posts, and I like being able to like follow along with like famous people too and see what they're always posting and stuff.
Yeah, I remember MySpace, so I guess that dates me just a little bit. If you could choose someone to portray yourself in a movie, who would it be?
One of my favorite actresses is probably Blake Lively, so maybe I'd pick her. And she's blonde, so maybe
There you go.
maybe that would fit.
Lastly, do you have a favorite holiday?
Definitely Thanksgiving. Definitely the food, and I like when all my family's able to come home and be together and have a good meal. So
What's your favorite food?
probably sweet potatoes with marshmallows on top.
Did you load up on them this year?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for doing this. We appreciate the time, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
That is Megan Lydon, a sophomore for the Celtics here on the Celtics Spotlight.